Good morning, labrīt, labas rītas, guten Morgen, goedemorgen, dzień dobry, dobry den. Do I miss anyone? So I learned, so are there some Romanians here? Oh, yeah, so bună dimineața. Oh, yes. And so what was missing? Oh, okay. Sorry, I didn't learn that yet. Okay, welcome to eazyBI Community Days. And I'm glad to see many familiar faces here, as well as many new faces, and I hope to learn more about you during these 2 days. And we started eazyBI Community Days already 6 years ago here in Riga. And so initially we did it here in Riga, then we have done it in Las Vegas together with a big Atlassian team / summit event. Then during the pandemic years, we did it remotely. And this year, so we decided, let's come back to Riga, so for our local and European customers to be able to come here and learn more about eazyBI, and for us to learn more about their experience. But as not everyone can come here, we are also doing the remote event, and so you have the best experience. You will be able to learn most from us during these 2 days, but then after a week we'll do the remote event as well, where we share some of the presentations that we are presenting during these 2 days. So if you have some colleagues who didn't manage to come here to this event, you can recommend to sign up for the remote event next year as well. So welcome to Riga. So we are, as you see, so we are in a beautiful location where you can see the riverside, you can see the old town, and so I hope that you will be able to also explore something from our beautiful city. How many of you are for the first time in Riga and Latvia? Oh, yeah, so quite many of you. So that's great that you finally had the opportunity to come to our beautiful city. And yeah, so for those who are here for the first time, so I wanted to give you some key facts about Latvia and Latvians. So in terms of our nature, so we are quite flatland. We don't have any big mountains, but we have a lot of forests. So if you came by plane, probably you saw that about half of Latvia is covered by forests. And then we have also a beautiful Baltic Sea, and we have 500 kilometers sandy beach that you can probably enjoy the best during the summertime, in July and August. But we, as Latvians, are northern nation, so when the sea is not frozen, we go swimming there as well, all year round. So we are less than 2 million people in all country, so which means that basically everyone knows everybody. So either we are some friends, or we are relatives, or we have worked together, or we have studied together. So we are not so many people. And that's actually true for our company as well, that besides being colleagues, some are relatives, some have studied together, starting from kindergarten up to the high school, and some are just some former colleagues or just friends. And yeah, so our capital city is Riga, and about half of population is living in Riga or nearby Riga in some smaller towns. But as nowadays you can do the business remotely as well, then many are also moving out of Riga. So for example, in our company, majority of us are living and working remotely outside of Riga, somewhere else in Latvia. But yeah, Riga is a beautiful old city with more than 800 years old. But Latvians, historically, we are farmers, and then even if we live in cities, we probably have some gardens or some country houses, and we like to grow some food by ourselves, some vegetables and fruits, and then we are especially proud if we make some meals out of the stuff that we have grown. And as we have a lot of forests then during the autumn time, so we have a lot of mushrooms and different kind of mushrooms in forests as well. And then that's one of the traditional things that Latvians do, that we go to forests and pick mushrooms and then prepare delicious mushrooms as well. So I'm not so keen going picking mushrooms. My wife is professional in that kind of sport, but I like eating them. And then probably our most popular and traditional drink is beer, and so we have a lot of different beer brands, and probably one of the highest percentage of beer brands per capita that you can enjoy. And today and tomorrow you'll be able also to taste a brand new type of beer. So I think that no one has tasted before, so that will be a surprise. And then in terms of culture, so we are a nation of singers and dancers. And each 5 years we have big song and dance festival in Latvia, when tens of thousands of people come together and sing and dance. And it will happen this year as well in July, and so that will be a very big celebration. And we are also probably the last pagan nation in Europe that we also celebrate ancient. Our biggest holiday is Midsummer Day in 23rd and 24th of June, when we celebrate the shortest night and make big bonfires and sing songs and drink beer. And that we have been doing for many thousands of years. But this week, so probably some of you have noticed that what is the most popular sports in Latvia? So team sports in Latvia, so it's hockey. That's where we are the best as a team. And we are around 10th place in the world hockey team ranking, and so we haven't got any big victories, like some top spots in the championship. But whenever we win some other top team, so then this is a big celebration. So this Monday, for the first time, we won the Czechs, and then it was a great celebration. So sorry, Czechs, for that. And of course, we have the best hockey fans in the world, so which support our team both when we are winning and when they are losing. And so then they are going everywhere else, and they are friendly and nice people. And so probably you'll see some hockey fans during these days as well. So we have holidays and festivals that we like to celebrate. But we also support our neighbors when they need our support. And therefore, we as Latvians and we as a company, we fully stand with Ukraine, and we support them in their fight for their freedom. And so we were lucky that we got our independence and freedom 33 years ago, and we were able to develop our business and international business, and without that, there wouldn't be any eazyBI. And so therefore, we are obliged now to support Ukraine for their fight to freedom. And so we donate significant amount of our profits to support Ukraine, and Latvia as a whole is one of the top supporters. So I encourage everyone else to continue to support Ukraine until their victory. Okay, now let's continue with the agenda for today. It's too high, so could you make some little bit... yeah, if you could ask, make it a little bit not so loud. Or I should speak a little bit more quiet. It's hard for me to do this, so... okay, so let's continue with the agenda for today and tomorrow. So you can find the agenda on our website, and then it's printed out, and on your badges there's QR code that you can go to the agenda. And today we'll have educational overview sessions, both by us as well as by some of our partners. What I want to mention that today we have also 2 spots for lightning talks, where you can come and present for a couple minutes whatever you want to share, maybe some nice report or some other thing about eazyBI or somehow related to eazyBI. So we encourage to do so. So if you are interested, so then please come and say that you are ready to present to Nauris or Elita, who will be moderating later. Please think about it. It's still your time. Maybe there is something that you would like to share with others. And at the end of today, we will have the evening after-party event. And that will be also a beautiful event on the boat. And so it is a 5 minutes walk from here to this river boat Vecrīga dock. So there is also, you can find on the badges how to go there. And so it seems that the weather will be nice, so probably it will be a little bit chilly, so bring some warmer jacket with you. You'll be able to explore Riga from the riverside. Then tomorrow morning, whenever we meet as a company somewhere in our events or when we go to some conferences, so we have a tradition that we are doing together running activity or walking activity. And so I encourage everyone else who is interested to join us. So we'll start at 7 o'clock from here downstairs in the lobby in the hotel. And so you can join either for some 5-kilometer run across the bridges and back, or 3-kilometer walk and explore the city. And also it's a good way to get energized for the second day of the event. And tomorrow we'll continue with presentations, which will be more deep dive sessions about, and more training sessions about specific topics, with a possibility to try some things out by yourselves. So for tomorrow especially, I encourage you to bring your notebooks with you, and so if you have access to your eazyBI environments, you can try some new things out, what you will learn tomorrow. So that's shortly about the agenda that you can find out. Whenever you will have any questions or feedback about presentations, there will be always possibility to ask questions after the presentation. But if you don't want to forget your question, or you don't want to ask it publicly, so you can use the Slido website to ask questions right away during the presentations. And so you can go to slido.com and join the channel ECD23. So the information is also on your badges. And there you can ask the questions right away during the presentations, and some colleagues will monitor these questions. Some will be answered right away there in this website, or some of these questions will be picked up after the presentations and asked publicly. Okay, one more thing I wanted to tell, that during the breaks, there will be a support bar. So it will not look exactly like this one, but so the purpose is that if you have your specific support questions about your eazyBI installation and that you want to get solved, during the breaks there will be all the time some of my colleagues on duty, and you can investigate and get help much faster than via the traditional support email channel. So please use that opportunity as well. Okay, so here is the updated picture of our team. So we are growing each year, and now we are almost 30 people, and almost all of us are here as well. So if you see anyone else in our eazyBI t-shirts, then you can also ask questions and discuss your favorite topics or learn something more, what's common between you. So please use this opportunity. And also some of our from previous events, you know that, and probably you have noticed that there is some uneven distribution of our first names in our team, and so I just made the updated pie chart of our team member names. So during our first event, so this chart looked different because the first slice was 50%. So 6 years ago, 50% of our team were named Jānis. So now it has dropped just to 27%. And so Jānis is the most popular name in Latvia, so it's similar to John in English. So it is not so popular, so I don't know why we managed to get so many of them into our team. But as you now see that now we have hired all of them, so therefore their percentage is decreasing, and now our diversity is increasing in terms of number of names. But now we have the second runner, so now we have 2 Ilzes. So all the other names are unique, but then if you are speaking with someone from our team, then remember that you can't just refer that, oh, I had some conversation with Jānis or Ilze, so that's not a unique identifier in our team. And also I wanted to remind that, so this is our Community Day event, and then during every day we have our community eazyBI.com website where you can have questions and answers about eazyBI. And we launched this community forums site also in the first eazyBI Community Days 6 years ago. And now you can see that over these 6 years we have had more than 5,000 questions and answers. So it has been very active website, and so we are happy that many of you are either asking questions or sharing your solutions with others. And so we are also monitoring that and sharing that with others as well. And this is a very good website where other eazyBI users can find some potential solutions to their questions. So therefore we try to publish as much as possible on our documentation site, on the community site. And so when I was making the screenshot for that, so I wanted to be on this screenshot as well, so therefore a couple days ago I picked one tricky question and find out how to solve it with some specific MDX formula. And I'm happy that my answer was accepted as a solution, and so I got into this screenshot as well. Okay, so this was overview about our event, about some latest updates, and let's move to the next part of my presentation where I wanted to share about some latest updates, latest features, and upcoming features in eazyBI. So at first I wanted to tell about our guiding principle when developing eazyBI and our slogan that we are using recently, that we want to make simple things easy, but complex things still possible. And over time, maybe some things initially were possible and with some complex solutions, but over time we want to make them more simple and more easy as well. The goal is that users can start and get some simple things easy with just some clicking around and dragging things and get their solution. But we want eazyBI to be a solution that you can start with and as well as then continue and got all your tricky questions answered as well. And also, there are different ways how you can use eazyBI. There are different deployment options. And also our guiding principle has been that eazyBI is the same everywhere in all deployment options. As if we look at the Atlassian and Atlassian Marketplace, we are probably one of the few vendors that have exactly the same functionality, both on the cloud and on the server on data center. And that we will definitely continue in future as well. And currently, our last eazyBI version 6.6 for server and data center was released in November. But in the cloud, we are all the time developing new features and releasing them gradually as they are developed. And we get the feedback and we fine-tune them and improve them. And then from time to time, so we include all these features in the new server and data center versions as well. And now, so we are very close to finalizing and releasing the new eazyBI version 7 for server and data center. So now feature-wise, so we have completed all the main features, need to finalize the testing and do the release very soon. And currently, we already have some more than 120 features, improvements, and bug fixes, so which will be included in the latest server and data center version. So I was wondering, so how many of you are using eazyBI on cloud? Some, yeah, and on server and data center? Majority, yeah. So it's interesting. It's probably Europeans are more conservative than Americans. Yeah? So in America, so this percentage is much higher. But yeah, so then you'll be now see what are all the new things that you still could not use yet, as which are already on the cloud, but will be very soon on the server and data center, and you can discuss these and try these things out, and now we can show you more about them during these 2 days. So at first, talking about eazyBI version 7, so one thing which probably is not so visible, that we were doing a lot of core component updates, which are eazyBI internals. As some of you probably know that we are using internally JRuby and Ruby on Rails framework to develop eazyBI, and we did the upgrades to the latest versions of Ruby on Rails and JRuby. We are also supporting Java JVM versions 8 and 11, and now we are doing the updates so to support the JVM 17 as well, as that will be the Java supported by the latest Jira and Confluence versions. So I would encourage to move at least to JVM 11, probably later to 17 as well. So we have been supporting quite old versions of Jira all the time, and when even it's not supported by Atlassian anymore. So with the eazyBI version 7, so we will stop supporting the Jira version 7. So I hope that you have migrated to 8 or 9, as no Jira 7 versions are supported anymore. And the same for Confluence, that we are stopping the support for Confluence 6, but still supporting versions 7 and 8. Also, we are updating support to our all databases, the latest releases of databases of Postgres, MySQL, Microsoft SQL Server, and Oracle. Then we were also supporting previously some old browsers, which I hope no one is using anymore, and so I think that with version 7, so we can finally disupport it. So I hope that every one of you are using already some modern browser. Okay, then if we continue with some new feature releases, so one thing that we are regularly doing, that we are finding out what would be some good standard new measures for typical use cases that we see in support. And one example that was released some couple of months ago on the cloud is the average days assigned or average work days assigned measure, which you can use to find out what time some Jira issues were assigned to particular assignee, and then compare, for example, in some scatter chart, and plot the assignees and see how many days tickets were assigned to them, how many issues they resolved, etc. So one example of such new measure. Then we recently improved how we are showing selected chart options. So previously there are a lot of options that how you can customize charts, but sometimes it was not quite clear what of these options are selected. And now we have improved that in all places we show with a check mark what is the current selected option. So either it's a default or you have changed it to something else, and so it's more consistent and it's much easier to understand what is selected where. We are improving the integrations with other marketplace apps, with other Atlassian products all the time. And in recent months, we have improved the integration with Tempo timesheets. Now you can analyze Tempo timesheets by status and reviewer dimensions. As well as in the cloud, we switched to the much more performant Tempo Cloud API version 4, which ensures much faster data synchronization time. As well as recently, we have been doing several improvements in X-ray integration, supporting X-ray incremental data import, supporting calculated X-ray custom fields, defect status, and priority dimensions. So the next thing is one thing that we improved in our cloud integrations. As already several years ago, we introduced DevOps Metrics that we can get from the server products, from Bitbucket Server, from Bamboo, from Jenkins, how you can get the pull request data, build data, deployment data, and get standard metrics. Now, recently, last month, we released DevOps Metrics in cloud, so that you can make the connection to the Bitbucket cloud or GitHub cloud, and then you can get the standard DevOps metrics like some number of builds, pull requests time, average development time, average review time, etc. So that's is created now with integrations with Bitbucket Cloud and GitHub Cloud. So we are probably will make some integration with GitLab in the future as well. But just a reminder, so these metrics are available on the server products already for several years. We are also exploring other integrations outside of Atlassian ecosystem, and at the end of the previous year, so we created the integration with Monday.com, so which is also a project management task tracking application. And we are looking for similar solutions where we have already this experience how to make analytics. And so as Monday.com is getting more popular, so we created the app in the Monday.com marketplace as well. So if you or someone in your team is using Monday.com, so you can find the eazyBI there as well and try out to use eazyBI for your Monday.com board item analytics. We are exploring also new ways how you can share eazyBI reports and dashboards with other users. And one use case is that you can use eazyBI to make Jira service management analytics. And then you can have your internal customers or external customers that you would like to share some dashboards with them and to show them how well you are doing, hopefully how well you are doing with serving their tickets. And so there's a new possibility, so currently in cloud and soon will be added to the server as well, that you can specify which eazyBI dashboard you would like to share to JSM portal customers. And then they can, in their profile, they will see the eazyBI dashboards link. And if they open it, they can see the shared dashboards that are made available to them. So the next thing is a feature that took a little bit longer time to develop, as I mentioned it already last year, that we have started to work on that, but so finally it was deployed to production under a feature flag, but it was deployed to production yesterday. So since yesterday it's available in the cloud and will be available in server and data center as well. These are conditional report alerts. So it's a totally new feature that you can use. That when you are making conditional cell formatting for reports or for charts, you can specify for some value range that these are good range, this is some green value, okay, this is already not so good, some yellow or orange, and these are bad, red. And probably you want to be notified when some indicators, some measures are going into this yellow or red area. And now you can do that when specifying this conditional cell formatting. You can check for which ranges you would like to get alerts. And then when you have specified that this report is with alerts, then there will be for each user the new option that you can subscribe to alerts from this particular report. Then whenever the data import is done, then we automatically execute all these reports with alerts and find out all the users who have subscribed to these alerts. And these users will receive the email notification that this measure in this report went to this alert zone, and please check it out. Or if it will go back to the normal, so you'll get the email notification about that as well. So now that's a much easier way. So instead of just every day refreshing some report, whether it's still green, so you can subscribe to alert and get notified about that. So the next thing is an example of this complex things possible functionality that we also released couple days ago in cloud, and which will be available on the server and data center as well. So as you know, when you do reporting in eazyBI, you can use time and different time hierarchies, either by years, quarter, months, or by weeks, or by fiscal hierarchies, or there was possibility to make some multiple weeks hierarchies. But still, from time to time, we got questions from users that I have very specific case how I want to make this time hierarchy. that maybe I want to group them in month and weeks, and then sometimes there's month with 4 weeks, sometimes month with 5 weeks, and a lot of different these scenarios. And it is very hard to guess all the criteria how you would, and all the combinations how you would like to do that. And therefore we introduce this possibility to make calculated time hierarchies, that you can write custom JavaScript code which will return, you define which levels this hierarchy will have, and then create a JavaScript code which, based on the time value, will return what value should be for each level. And then you can test it out with different dates and see whether it is as it should be. And so we will provide many different examples for that, and probably this will be also the case where if you need something, you will contact us and we'll provide you with this custom JavaScript code, but at least we will be able to provide with this custom hierarchy, which now should solve all your specific time hierarchy needs. And then, so this was the simplest example so that I could fit into one slide the solution where I made a simpler time hierarchy, which is just year, month, and date. Then the next thing is also a feature which took a little bit longer and which we also mentioned already a year ago, but finally we completed that, and this is also a couple days ago released in cloud and available, and will be available in eazyBI version 7. Is about a new way how to administer dashboard email subscriptions. So as you know, there are, you can subscribe to dashboards in eazyBI and specify on which weekdays, at what time you would like to receive exported dashboard in your email. But unfortunately, maybe in some organizations, so there are some bosses who don't want to use computers, so who have just learned to use email, and then they just asking their admins, could you please set up for me this dashboard email subscription? And now you can do that. At first, there's one improvement that for each dashboard email subscription, there will be a status icon where you can see when was the last time when it was sent, or maybe if there was some error, maybe email sending failed, there will be some error message about that, so you can check the status icon. But then, in addition, if you are an admin, then in addition to seeing my subscriptions, you can switch also to all users' subscriptions. And when you go to the all users subscriptions, you can search for any user who have access to this eazyBI account, and you can add that user and specify dashboard email subscriptions for that user and save. And that's the way how you can create dashboard email subscriptions for others, as well as when you just go to that screen as an admin, in the list you can find all users in this eazyBI account who have created their dashboard email subscriptions, and you can just verify so who are currently receiving them and update if necessary. So the next feature is more how we want to help users to learn eazyBI and what is possible, and especially for new users, but maybe also for some existing users. And this is the functionality of product tours. Now in many eazyBI pages, so there is in the help menu, there is a product tour link. And so this is now available in the cloud. And if you click that, so it will start interactive tour, which will describe so which are the main blocks in this page, with description, what is there, with links to the corresponding documentation page. So you can go next and then learn more about what you should use and in what sequence you should use. and go through all this interactive tour and to find what is available where. And so under it, we have created a framework how we can define these product tours, and over time we will add new user tours, what we see are needed, as well as for new trials, we are starting the first tour automatically to help users to learn the basics of eazyBI easier and faster. So the next thing I wanted to talk is, besides new feature improvements, we are improving performance and scalability of eazyBI all the time as well, as I think that the performance is also one of the key features so no one has ever complained that some reports are executing too fast, probably. And so as you know, that sometimes for large data volumes, eazyBI might not be as fast as you would like to have it. And currently, if you had large data volumes, we typically suggested that in eazyBI you can create multiple eazyBI accounts and then just split your data by projects or some other way into smaller eazyBI accounts. And previously we recommended that please use up to 100,000 issues per one eazyBI account. So there were no hard limitations, so it could work faster, but it was not so fast as we would like to have it. And of course, we were not also so happy about such recommendations. Therefore, we were doing investigations, how we could improve that. And one of the reasons previously was that some limitations of these traditional transactional SQL databases. So this is one example of SQL request generated by eazyBI, which calculates the sum of workflow transitions by year and by status category. And so here is an example I took from our production that in one account which had 1 million issues, which generated 15 million records in changelog measures table. And then such query, depending on the database load, could take 10 to 30 seconds, and which is, of course, slowing down the reports that would use such queries. And why is it so? Because these traditional transactional SQL databases, they store data by rows, and they are optimized by this online transactional processing. That one row of data, and in these measures table, there are a lot of columns, so all columns in one row are stored together, row by row. The first row, the second row, third row, etc. And when you make some analytical queries, it has to scan all these rows and then load everything in memory. And then from all these huge volumes of data, just pick some columns that are needed in this request. And it might get slower. And therefore, already some while ago, for analytical query needs, new type of analytical databases were created, which are optimized for online analytical processing workload, and which were using columnar storage, which means that in that scenario, each column is stored separately, like date or project, issue, status, etc. And which gives several benefits. When you are making these analytical queries, typically use just a couple of these columns in these queries, and you need to load much smaller amount of data. As well as it provides much better compression of the data, because in one column, typically there are a lot of duplicate values, the same values like projects or statuses and things like that. And as a result, they provide much better compression, and as a result, much fewer input-output operations. And we were investigating some of these analytical databases, And finally, we started to use one of the leading open source analytical databases and probably the fastest open source analytical database, ClickHouse, which uses this column-oriented storage. And what we created in our case that in addition to this initial data import into this, in our cloud we use Postgres database. If we detect that there are a lot of data, then we automatically synchronize the data to the ClickHouse database. And then we use, for analytical queries, we use this ClickHouse database to execute these queries. And now we can support much better and much faster, larger amounts of data, 1 million issues or more per account. And so we have already some accounts which have multi-million issues in one eazyBI account. If we compare the same SQL query for the same account that I was showing previously, that using ClickHouse database, so the previous SQL statement, which took some 10 to 30 seconds, now executes in less than half a second because of these improvements. And it had 10 times smaller database size, this additional synchronized database size. So this database size overhead is also not so big. So we started to use this solution already a year ago, and it's used in our cloud, and so we have tested it, and so which is working good. And there's nothing is needed from the customers to start using that, as we automatically detect if the database size exceeds some threshold, then we automatically start to synchronize to the ClickHouse database. And so as we have tested this solution and it works fine, so we want to enable that for our server and data center customers. Actually, just for our data center customers, yeah, so as you know, the server will go away soon. That you can install either this open source ClickHouse database on your Linux server, or if you are hosting your Jira data center on AWS, then you can also use ClickHouse Cloud Service on AWS. So if you don't want to maintain any additional database, you can use this as a service as well. And in the settings, you'll be able to specify that you want to start using that, and then either manually specify for which accounts to use that, as well as specify just the threshold that if the data is big enough, start using that. So this is probably should improve your performance in your large eazyBI installations. Of course, it will not solve all your slow queries, and so if there will be complex, calculated, custom calculations, it might still be slow, but at least the standard measures for large data volumes should be much faster for large data volumes. So a couple of words about security and compliance, which is also very important for us. So as we have been the Atlassian Cloud Fortified program participant already since the very beginning, which sets some higher standards for security, for reliability, for support. And we have been using and we have been part of bug bounty programs by Bugcrowd and HackerOne, when there has been a lot of hackers which are trying to find some vulnerabilities in eazyBI. And so in recent years, we haven't had any major security issue, but yeah, we fixed any minor issues that were identified. But I'm proud to tell that last year we did the implementation of a SOC 2 system in our company, and last year in autumn we got SOC 2 Type 2 certified. So SOC 2 is one of the leading standards for cloud services that many companies are now using, which sets the requirements, and so how we can demonstrate how we are handling security, liability, reliability, privacy, etc. And so we passed the SOC 2 audit, and then for all our cloud customers who are interested, we can provide our SOC 2 Type 2 report to ensure that we are reliable cloud hosting partner for you. One more thing regarding eazyBI features. So sometimes some business reports and dashboards might get too boring, and you want to make some fun in your meetings and cheer it up. And sometimes you want to make some funny pie charts. So that's we have our internal hackathon days when we think about something that we could try out during that hackathon day, and then make a small team which would implement that. And we noticed that someone made a XKCD style, comic style charts, JavaScript library for that. And then we thought that, well, could we make eazyBI reports, XKCD comic style reports? And so it was just before the 1st of April. And then, of course, during the 1st of April, we launched this new feature, eazyBI comic style. So now, so that's available in the cloud, and will be available in the eazyBI version 7. Then there will be a setting that you can enable that make all your charts more shaky with comic style fonts. And then either you can turn it on manually, or if you're a Jira admin, then on 1st of April you can prank all your users and also make it as a default version of eazyBI. And just to make more fun. So I encourage you to try it out. So, and finally, so as you see, there are a lot of things that we have been working on, and what we have released already on the cloud will be available on the server. And so this time, so I'm not going to show some specific details and promise something, so what's coming in a year, what's next, but just some topics that are in our backlog and that we are thinking of. And I want to remind that we always prioritize our backlog based on the user feedback. And so what are these things that you are telling us? And we are gathering these support conversations and then linking to our internal Jira issue ideas. And the more we see there is some interest about some topic, the more highly it will be prioritized. So some areas that we are investigating and working on. So of course, all the time we are looking at some new report and chart features, how to improve something. So one area is, for example, we are looking how to make some new hierarchies, additional hierarchies in other dimensions, and how to make it simpler. So as you can make some hierarchies in issue dimension, in time dimension, probably how to make easier making these additional hierarchies in other reports, as well as how to improve some other charts. For example, there are some ideas about Gantt chart, how to improve that. We are looking at new source data integrations. So there are some, as cloud is becoming more popular, there are some cloud marketplace apps that we are planning to integrate with. As well as we are investigating what is also outside of Atlassian marketplace. So if you have any ideas about what are other data sources that it would be nice that eazyBI can get data from. We are all the time looking at performance improvements, and so as we are having the biggest installation of eazyBI in the world, so our cloud infrastructure is the biggest one, so we can find out what is happening slower there, and then based on that we can improve our server and data center products as well. One thing that we are going to start working on is how to make audit log of report definition changes and access rights changes. Is that what we see quite often in our cloud installation, that some are telling, well, someone changed this report or this formula, and who was that? And then it's quite hard to find out from the log files who did that. And sometimes someone accidentally deleted the whole eazyBI account and then asking us, so could you restore that? So we are going to do that, to make the audit log changes of all report definitions, calculated member formula definitions, so that admins could restore, if necessary, some previous versions of these reports. As well as we are going to improve these product tours and these interactive, and make them support more interactive learning tours, maybe. So how to help you learning how to write MDX formulas and checking whether you have done something right. So we have a lot of ideas how to improve that as well. So these were some short ideas, so what we are going to work on. So please let us know your feedback. So what are priorities for you, and we will be glad to listen to them. Thank you very much for your attention, and then if I have some couple minutes for questions. Thank you.